Hey there, it's Emily, environmental educator with New Jersey Audubon, and today I want to show you an activity called Windows on the World. So in this activity, we'll be exploring a small space and looking at the biodiversity within that space. And biodiversity simply means the variety of life within a certain area. So first things first, we need to define the window or the area that we'll be exploring today. So find a spot outside where you want to place your window. I've used a bungee cord that I had laying around to define my window. You could also use a hanger. If you have a wire hanger in your closet, you can even bend it into the shape of a square if you want it to really look like an actual window. You can use a rope if you have that lying around. Anything to create your window for exploration. Once you've placed your window, start to look at the different plants and maybe even animals. Maybe you have some insects that are within your window. One thing that stands out to me right away in my window is this bright yellow dandelion here. But I see some other types of plants as well. So we want to figure out how many different species or different types of plants we have within our window. So really pay attention to similarities and differences between the plants you're looking at. This dandelion, for example, has a really interesting looking leaf with sort of these pointy lobes on it. So when I look at this other plant over here, even though it doesn't have a bright yellow flower, I recognize the shape of these leaves and know that this is also a dandelion plant. So we have at least two individuals of dandelion species within our window. As you observe each species within your window, try drawing it in your nature notebook or on a piece of paper. By drawing, you'll really pay attention to the special characteristics of that plant, and that'll help you better identify it in the future. This red dead nettle plant here looks much different than our dandelion. You can see it's growing up nice and tall, and it's almost got these layers of leaves with sort of reddish purple leaves on the top and larger green leaves on the bottom. This ivy is another species of plant within our window here. It's got a leaf that's almost shaped like a maple leaf, and you can see it's attached to a vine that grows way outside beyond our window. Continue to sketch the different species you identify within your window. Don't worry about knowing the specific names of species. That's not important for this activity. But pay attention to the similarities and differences between the species that you find. Look at things like leaf shape, color, size, even smell and texture of the different species. Once you've counted all the species in your window, you can start to figure out the Biodiversity Index. So the Biodiversity Index is the number of species divided by the number of individuals in an area, in this case, in our window. I observed 5 different species within my window, so I wrote the number 5 on top. Now I need to count the number of individuals in my window. Remember, the dandelion was one species that was in the window, but there is one individual dandelion plant here. There's a second, this small one without a flower, and there's a third over here. So that's 3 individual dandelions. I counted the number of individuals of all the plants in the window, and got 13. So I put that number on the bottom. So the biodiversity index for the window is going to be 5 divided by 13. And I think I'm going to have to use a calculator to figure that out. The biodiversity index for this window turned out to be 0.38. Now, a biodiversity index of 0 means extremely low biodiversity, and a biodiversity index of 1 means extremely high biodiversity. So 0.38 is kind of in the middle. Now you can take your window and try moving it to a different area and repeating this process. Then you can compare to see if biodiversity is higher in one window versus the other. I hope you enjoyed watching and have fun doing windows on the world. Thanks.